We all procrastinate in one form or another, and sometimes the consequences are minor, like my wife's stare when I don't put away my folded clothes. But sometimes procrastination can cost you thousands of dollars. This is especially true if you've been dragging your feet on putting together a withdrawal strategy for your portfolio. As discussed before, without a withdrawal strategy in place, you can end up paying over 50% tax on your registered assets like your RRSP or RIF at death. So how do you avoid this? Well, if you're in a low tax bracket today, you have the opportunity to withdraw funds out of your RRSP or your RIF at a much lesser rate than 50%. So every year that you're in a low bracket is an opportunity to draw funds out. Take Susan, for example. She's 65 and she's receiving her CPP and old age security. And additionally, she has $190,000 in her TFSA, $900,000 in her RSP, and $500,000 in her non-registered account. She wants to be able to spend $6,500 per month, and her current plan is to draw on her TFSA first because there's going to be no tax to draw funds out of there. Once her TFSA is depleted, she's then going to use her non-registered account until eventually she's forced to make withdrawals from her RRSP once it's converted into a RIF. Based on Susan's current plan, she is in no danger of running out of money. And to her point, she's keeping her tax bill quite low in her early years of retirement as she's living on her CPP, old age security, and TFSA. So she's only having to pay tax on her CPP, OAS, and any interest or dividends that are generated in her non-registered account. So this works for the first 6 years of retirement, but then we see her tax bill shoot up in 2031 as she's now forced to make mandated withdrawals from her RIF. The problem with this strategy is that Susan is still going to have a lot of money left in her RIF at the plan's end. She's going to be facing a final tax bill of $598,000, leaving her with a net estate of $1.15 million. So is this going to be the most tax efficient strategy? Well, let's look at another scenario where instead of drawing on her TFSAs, we instead target a taxable income of $90,000 per year. Why $90,000? Well, it keeps us under the old age security clawback threshold, and it still allows us to withdraw a healthy amount from her RSPs every year while she's in a low tax bracket. So she's going to have taxable income again on her CPP, on her OAS, and on some of the interest and dividends generated in her non-registered account. And let's just say for the sake of this example that that's $40,000 a year. So that allows us to withdraw another $50,000 from her RSP, again, paying tax at a lower rate to reach a taxable income of $90,000. So Susan is definitely going to be paying more taxes by using this approach, and we can see that over the first 6 years of retirement, she's paying about an extra $15,000 per year in taxes. However, on the flip side, her tax bill is going to be much lower for the rest of her retirement, and her final tax bill is only going to be $261,000 compared to the $598,000 tax bill she's currently facing using her initial strategy. This is because in this second scenario, she's going to have much less remaining in her RIF that's going to be subject to tax at the plan's end. By using this second approach, Susan's net estate is going to be worth $1.33 million, which is $180,000 compared to her current strategy. We now know the best strategy to reduce Susan's tax bill throughout retirement, but let's just say for fun that Susan had waited 3 years before figuring this out. So that's to say that she would keep drawing on her TFSAs over the next 3 years before implementing the same strategy of targeting a taxable income of $90,000 per year. So she's still going to be better off by eventually having a withdrawal strategy, but now her net estate is only $1.24 million compared to $1.33 million if she implemented the same strategy today. So that's a $90,000 difference. And to look at it a different way, for those 3 years that she's waiting, it's costing her $30,000 per year. All this to say is that there's no better time than today to put together a withdrawal strategy if you don't have one in place. And as a reminder, a withdrawal strategy isn't something that you put together once and follow blindly for the rest of your retirement. Things will change. Tax rules change, your cash flow needs change, and you want to make sure that you're updating your plan regularly. If you'd like help with your withdrawal strategy, check us out at transcanadawealthmanagement.com.